All right, shalawam. Okay, first off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham Yahawashi, bahasham Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect doing the work in sincerity and in truth all over the four corners of the earth. Shalom. All right, so this GMS precepts. Once again, my name is Nazar Khad, and in today's lesson, I haven't thought of a title yet, but I'm gonna pretty much go into knowing when to speak, man, and being able to being a listener rather than just a talker. In the world they like to say, you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. All right, and the reason being to do more listening and less talking. All right, and that's something that young brothers should adhere to as well. When you're coming up in the truth, you really should be doing a lot of listening, man, and less talking, less input, less adding into the conversation, putting your 2 cents in or whatever. You should be doing less of that and more listening, man. All right, because really you don't have that experience to be doing that much input. Really, as a novice, you should be doing a lot of listening and taking in and marinating in what's being told to you. And the scriptures speak about that as well. So the first scripture I have is in James, the first chapter, James 1:19. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak." Okay, and slow to wrath, right? But the first, the first part is where the point is. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear and slow to speak, man. Right. So you should be like I just said. You should one should be doing the key to this. The key to obtaining and understanding the scriptures and being in tune and aligned with the Bible. All right, being in tune and in line with wisdom is you have to do a lot of listening, man. Be swift to hear and slow to speak. Right? That's very important. That's very vital, man. And that also shows your character. If you can just sit there and listen without having too much input to say, that shows that shows that you have some wisdom in you, man. Or you can, number one, be taught. Okay, and number two, that shows a lot of humility. Because really, when you're learning this again, you have to relearn everything. So everything that you thought you knew was the truth prior is not the truth. You have to be retaught again. All right? Okay, so the second scripture, what I got, I'm gonna go to this is Sirach. This is Ecclesiasticus 19 verse 6. Right? It says, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil. Okay? I'll read it again. He that can rule his tongue shall live without strife. So you got to be able to hold your tongue, hold your peace. All right? It tells you in James that the tongue is evil, man. The tongue can, what you say can really put you in trouble, man. That's why nobody wants a nigga woman, man. I don't care, what race you are. Nobody. That's why. Cause why? She talks too goddamn much. She always has something to say. That's why no nation can really deal, especially, the men of our nation. Okay, we really can't deal with the nigga woman. Nobody can deal with her. Why? Cause she runs her mouth too goddamn much. Okay. They have no rule over their tongue, all right? But in the kingdom, everything will be in order again, and they'll actually be women once more, okay? So it says, he that can rule his tongue shall live without strife, and he that hateth babbling shall have less evil, okay? Because nobody likes a babbler. Nobody likes a motherfucker that just wants to talk all the goddamn time, man, okay? Now this is same book, Ecclesiasticus, the 20th chapter, 20 and 5. I'm gonna start at 5. It says, this is Sirach 25. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise. There you go. All right. So to be, you seem wise when you're able to be quiet, man. All right, because that's a sign of somebody that's willing to abase himself, humble himself, and to be retaught again. That's why the Lord used the example of in Matthew's the 18th chapter. He, when he was asked how does one enter into the kingdom of heaven, he pointed at the child and said one has to be as a child. Why? Because a child is willing to be taught everything, man. In the early stages of a child, that's when their brain is like a sponge and they're able to take in everything that's told to them. All right. Okay. So to be able to hold your peace and hold your tongue and keep silence, this scripture says that you are found wise. I'll read it again. There is one that keepeth silence and is found wise, and another by much babbling becometh hateful. All right. And like I just said, that's why nobody can't stand a fucking nigga woman. She can't help herself but to run her fucking mouth. All right. So it says, continuing, it says, so some man holdeth his tongue. Let me see. Okay. It says, some man holdeth his tongue because he hath not to answer, and some keep silence knowing his time. Right. And, sometimes you might have a person that always cuts somebody off, and wants to interject and say his piece. You got to know it's really an acquired skill. It's something that you have to relearn again, man. Knowing when to speak and knowing when to interject. All right. It's I always compare it to when you're growing up and you see the girls they're doing jump ropes, right? And before they jump in, it's a timing thing. You can't just jump in there or else you'll get the jump rope and hit you, man. It's a timing thing. You gotta be able to see, okay, when's the time for me to interject. Maybe it's not your time to interject. Maybe you just gotta hold your peace if a brother's talking. Maybe you gotta let him finish his point and then you can interject. Right? So I'll read again. It says, some man holdeth his peace because he hath not to answer, and some keep silence knowing his time. All right? So verse 7, it says, a wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity. Right? And that's considered wise, man. A wise man will hold his tongue till he see opportunity, but a babbler and a fool will regard no time. All right? And you see the scriptures always refer to a person that cuts somebody off or does not know when it's time to interject or speak. Always referring to it as a babbler, man. All right? In the last scripture, this is Proverbs 15 and 23. It says, a man hath joy by the answer of his mouth, and the word spoken in due season. How good is it? How good is it? And you can see this sentence ends with a apostrophe, man, or I'm sorry, an exclamation point. How good is it? A man hath joy by the answer of his mouth. Excuse me. And a word spoken in due season, how good is it? Meaning a word spoken at the right time. How good is it? Right? So you got to know when to interject. You got to know when to speak. You got to know when to speak and you got to know when not to speak. You got to know when to interject and to just hold your peace. Okay? But that's acquired through time and through experience. Okay, but yeah, that's pretty much know when to speak in due season, know when to speak and know when not to speak. All right, because according to the scriptures, when you're able to hold your peace and speak in due season, you are considered a wise man according to the scriptures. Okay. All right. So until the next show, that's pretty much it. Until the next show, shalawam.